For the torso, I went and got one of the cheapest bins I could find, which is roughly the right size. First thing to do is cut the bottom off and see if his chest will fit. But because this one has these little wheel arches, I'm going to have to cut this bit out and match it on the other side. After cutting off the bottom, next thing is the top. The idea is to make it a bit like a regular vest shape, bringing it down deep to give plenty of play for the armpits. So the shoulder should be sitting around here, and then shaping it like a vest means I have these two parts here where I can make a hole to hang the strap, which will go over the shoulder. I don't want the shoulder straps to be straight because otherwise they would pull straight down onto the soft part on the inside of the neck. It's better to have it at an angle like this, like a backpack, and then it can go over the natural line of the collarbone more easily. So it's just 2 holes in each end and cut for scalpel, and then I can feed the strap through. To decorate the torso, I just went down Daiso, the 100 yen store, and bought anything I could find that looked like it might look cool and stuck on the robot. This is a colour changing, supposed to float in the bath, but this might look cool. I thought I might go for some sort of retro looking robot where there's a big light stuck in the middle. This horrible looking thing has 3 different LEDs in it, and also it changes colour. So I really only want to use the bottom part, which has the LEDs inside it, which changes colour. This drinking flask, I like the shape of this cap, and that might make a nice chest light if I put this thing inside it. You can't quite see in the video, but it changes colour. These things are just food cartons, so on the front I thought I could put that type of shape there, and then the light in front of it, give it a bit of texture. Similarly for the back, this is a larger one. If this was the back, I could put that on the back. I guess a bit like a battery pack or something. These lights, I got 2 of these. I thought on the back they might look cool if I stick them on there, and then that battery pack thing in the middle. And these, I don't know what these are supposed to be, some sort of hook. But I like the cog, so if I take these metal bits off, and I thought maybe at the bottom I could put this cog here and here, which might look cool when it's sprayed. And then these are just shiny stickers, which I can put on afterwards. And then another light, I don't know if I'll use this or not. So all in all, it's about 1,000 yen's worth of stuff. I'll just explain how the back is constructed. These things come in a pack of 16, and they're very flimsy. You can easily push straight into them. So we need to layer them to make them more rigid. So I have 4, which I've cut very tight along the bottom of the slope. And the idea is that 4 of them stack up, which is already a lot more rigid than it was. Then the 5th one, this is the very top layer. This one I've left the lip sticking around the outside. So this one goes on top. And the idea is then that you can glue the lip to the plastic and it will hold them all. And it's quite tight. For the lights, once I took the clip off the back, the switch is here. Just turn it off and on. And I thought about extending this switch somehow and joining them, but it just seems like a lot of work. So instead, I've cut a hole here, and this goes on top, and then you can very easily get to the switch from underneath. These will be glued before spraying, and these will be glued after spraying. So I've marked out a patch here, which is inside the border, and I will hot glue this directly to the plastic. So this will be masked off when spraying, so it can be glued straight on like that. And they'll be like that. One last thing I've thought of, it would be a shame not to use this colour changing light, which has a single LED. This one changes colour. So what I've done is this cap, which had the thread part, I've cut that thread off, so now it will fit flush, and this will glue on the back of the battery pack. This part, which has the LED sticking up, this has a flat plate, so I'll glue this direct to the inside here and put a little hole through, and the LED will go through that way. The batteries, to stop them from popping out, I'll just hot glue them in, and then finally, so you can get to the switch, I've put a hole here where the center of the battery pack will be. Remember, the whole thing will be sprayed apart from this cap. And then you can reach in from the inside, turn it on before you put the costume on. For the chest light, this is my favourite shape. So I hacked apart that cheap fibre optic looking thing, and I'm left with just the unit and its switch. This mode, it cycles through the colours. And this is a flat back, so I will glue this straight onto the chest here. Then the switch will come out of this little hole. This will be glued on top. In order to glue it, I'm not sure if this is going to see on the camera, there's the inside thread, because this was a bottle cap. So I hacked off the inside thread to make a nice flat surface to glue the inside of the switch to. So just to show you how the switch is held in, I basically used a load of hot glue and built it up in 3 stages, and just made like a massive patch, and it's basically enclosed in like rubber effectively, and now it's nice and strong to press. The torso now is basically finished. It just needs spraying. So this is the back, and remember this is going to be sprayed, so it'll be opaque. I'm going to use a 2-colour scheme, I think like bronze and brown pearl colour. So they're complementary, but we'll be able to have a bit of a design. This will be stuck on afterwards, so the light will shine through here. And these will be stuck here. This will be sprayed the opposite colour, like bronze or brown. These will be stuck on here. And then around the front is the chest light. I think I'm not going to do anything else to the chest. Just have a band like this and like this. So the main body will be bronze, and then we'll have like a brown band going up like that. So now that the construction of the torso is complete, I need to make some sort of shoulder pad which goes over the top. But it has to be detachable, because when he gets in here, his head needs to come up and his arms come out. And then the shoulder pad has to go on afterwards. Another problem is it has to be very quick and easy to take off and put on, because he's going to be wearing this at school and at some parties and stuff. And if it requires a lot of fixing and twiddling to attach pieces, it's just not going to work. So my idea is, I got this sheet of acrylic, no it's not, it's propylene, from the 100 yen store. And it's fairly sturdy, while also being flexible at the same time. So if I cut it to the right shape, it can be a shoulder pad that attaches on. And I'm going to try using magnets, and have magnets glued along here and glued along the sheet. And hopefully the magnets will be strong enough to hold it on both sides. If they're not, I'll have to think of something else. This is the shape I came up with for the shoulder pad. Straight along this side, and it's curved along that side with these 2 angles. Then once you crease it along the lines where you want it to fold, it holds its shape quite nicely, and it's no longer as springy as it was when it was flat. I rounded the edges so there's no sharp corners to stick into soft necks, and then this will be held onto here with magnets. These magnets are also from the 100 yen store. I've hot glued them onto the shoulder pad and the suit, and then it just clicks into place. It's surprisingly strong. Just one shoulder pad can take the weight of the whole suit. Also in the 100 yen store I found these lights, which look kind of cool. So I took apart the clip, and I can glue one onto each shoulder pad. And these can move about. The forearm pieces are really easy. These are water bottles from the 100 yen store. I had him with me, and his little hand can fit into this hole quite easily. They've got a bit of texture on them, so they should look nice when they're painted. All I did was I measured it the length of his forearm, so his hand goes in here and will stick out here. His elbow will be this end. And then just so it won't wobble about so much, I put 2 holes in each side, fed through some elastic, and this is quite loose. So his hand will go through here and it will just hold it around the wrist. And that'll be the robot forearm. Final touch, just using the hot glue gun. I glued the cap onto the side, so it looks a bit like a hinge. For the upper arm, this is just an ordinary 500ml PET bottle with the top and the bottom cut off. And I chose this one because it's got a bit of texture on it, which gives it a bit of design. And cut it to this shape. So his arm goes through there, and this is the shoulder. And then there's plenty of space on the inside for the armpit. His armpit only comes down to about here, so there's plenty of space. And then it just sits on his arm with a bit of elastic. And that's it. That's the robot arm. For the legs, I got this poster tube from Daiso. This was 300 yen. It came with this outer tube and then this inner tube, which could be used to extend it. For the lower legs, the inner tube was exactly right, so I just cut it in half. And he just sticks his foot in, and then this goes from knee to ankle. And just on the inside of the knee, to give it a bit of play, I've cut this at the top is like a V shape. So you see it's lower down on one side. That gives more room for the knee. Then for the upper leg, the thigh is much wider, so we can't have a tube. So this is basically kind of like a knee pad. So this would be the top on the outside of the thigh, and this would be the bottom. And then on the inside of the thigh, it's just held into place by this. I'll put 2 holes here and just put some elastic string across. And it's basically just like a piece of armour that sticks on the outside of the leg like that. The smaller bin I've got for the head. It's not exactly the shape I want, but it should do. So I'm thinking of turning it upside down, gluing the lid onto the base, and then cutting it here, which will be the bottom of the head, maybe with an extra mouthpiece, and then he'll look out of the mouth. That's the basic idea. So the first thing I did was hack off all the legs and bottom pieces so that the top of the head has a flat surface I can work with. And then I've shaped this, so this will be the top half of the head, which is the robot's eyes will be here, and this is actually the robot mouth where Anthony will be looking out of, and then there'll be another piece coming down here as the bottom of the robot mouth, which will be around where Anthony's chin is, and then stick them together. So to make the jaw, I just cut another piece from the bin at the same angle. I took out this middle section, and then when you flip it round, it goes over here, and that makes the lower jaw. To finish it off, these air fresheners, again, were from the 100 yen store. I don't actually want that bit, but this bit looks kind of cool. I thought I can stick that here. It's like a hinge. The head is basically finished. After spraying, I'll stick these on the side. And to hide all this rough stuff on top, I've taken the lid apart and cut off all the bits sticking out. And I'll glue that on top. And then again, after spraying, I'll probably stick some sort of eyes on. Not sure what I'll use yet.